regardless if you're one of the best isolation players like Jalen Brunson is, it may not be your best friend because you have to understand who you're going against. First play here. Notice who he's going to end up getting a switch onto and going in isolation against, right? J-Dub, right? J-Dub is a all-defensive second-team player, especially when you got players off the ball like Cason Wallace, who's a great defender, Lu Dort, who knows how to play defense, Isaiah Hartenstein, who knows how to play defense. Not a great defender, knows how to play defense, but you have two great defenders on this side as well who are going to know how to play off the ball and rotate. Then you have a great on-ball defender in J-Dub who's on the ball. 7'2" wingspan at 6'7", can move his feet, mobile. This is tough, right? So Jalen Brunson decides to attack him in isolation, right? Shot there, bricks it. Right? That's not the matchup. Then you have SGA on the floor as well. And now notice again, who is he going to end up attacking, right? I know you may like to get your screens and switches from Cat, right? But this matchup, when you get a switch from onto Cat's defender, is J-Dub. And now he ends up having J-Dub on him. And now he ends up trying to go into this attack in this isolation. Hits a couple solid moves that might have looked like it's something, but look where J-Dub is when the shot happens. Recovery. All defensive second teamer, right? So now, boom, he misses again. And so when it comes down to these type of isolations, you have to pattern them in the midst of a play a certain way, like you're about to see him do right here, right? You saw how he got the switch, right? Everybody was able to see. They knew explicitly he was going to go and attack, right? That's not the only time. That's not the only way you could isolate. You could also isolate, by breaking a play, meaning that you're running something and then you see something else and then you break it in half, right? Like this. Right? So Jalen Brunson this time coming down in transition, has Wiggins on him. Notice, right? Boom, change the pace. Fake like he was gonna get that drag screen, right? Notice this is an isolation too. Here, all because everybody doesn't get set and 1-4 flats it, right? Doesn't mean it's not isolation. This is an isolation. And so he uses the dynamics of transition while his defender's still moving back. Not everybody is set to guard, and he has the gravity of Cat, who's coming over here on this trail, right? So when his eyes look this way and it relaxes his defender, it makes him say, okay, I got to prepare for a screen. But he uses that to his advantage to be able to do what? Reject this and be able to attack to this baseline where SJ can't help all the way because it's strong side corner, and he's able to float and end up getting his bucket, right? Boom, he gets his bucket there. And now notice how he's able to do this even against Lu Dort. You just seen Aaron Wiggins, right? Lu Dort, great defender as well. Notice how he's going to pattern this stuff in, right? He's making the play call. Let me move my camera, right? Notice. First and foremost, gets a switch on Lu Dort, right? Communicating, getting people where they need to. Eyes looking middle, right? And I want you to even understand the spacing at this point in time. Understand the spacing, right? Before you about to see him make that go move, right? You got J-Dub hugging the ball. You got Cason Wallace over here, Josh Hart. Weak side, and Anunoby, right? Strong side court, you know they don't help. Look at Lu Dort's frame. He's literally leaning to this side, anticipating a screen. So by him leveraging his other teammates and their gravity, he's able to get his defenders to get their eyes off of just him and him alone. Because now when you get someone split and double-minded as a defender, it makes it so much harder to guard you when you make an attack. Because they're thinking about getting through something else and having to do another thing, right? And so now pay attention. Jalen Brunson goes here, boom, push cross. Now he's able to actually bump, stop, get to his spot, and fade off of that, and is able to get his bucket, right? And that's just simply by him using the gravity of his teammates. But understand, you cannot go back to your vomit. What doesn't work, right? It's like it says in Proverbs 26. It says something about how dogs go back to their vomit. When, as a basketball player, going back to your vomit, that looks like you doing the things that didn't work because you did something that worked and you want to try to do something that didn't work beforehand. And you just should know that it's not going to work. That bucket just happened 6:08. That other bucket we just watched, right? Ended up happening at 7 minutes. So at 7 minutes, then at about 6:08, that bucket, and now 5:40. These are all like right back to back possessions, right? So understand. Now this next time happens, he clears out Josh Hart, he gets a screen from Cat, and this is what it looks like to go back to your vomit. Like I just told y'all, Proverbs 26, right? Don't be like a dog that goes back to their vomit. And so what ends up happening, of course, is that he got a matchup that's not it. He tries to ISO like he did before and takes a tough shot and misses it. You got to continuously do what is good, right? Continuously do what is working. And don't try to force anything, especially against a team like OKC, where you stack up, or any team that's good at playing team defense, where people are able to stack up, close up areas, right? They all see the ball. They all see what's going on, right? They all know what they're doing. They all know how to play defense. You can't just play into that, right? So he ends up trying to do this against J-Dub, 0 for 3 against J-Dub, right? He's got to blend those plays in. And so now, understanding OKC even as a team, this is another regular season game that they played against them. Another regular season game, right? And so now even notice how they're able to game plan against Jalen Brunson, specifically taking away his mid-range game, right? It's very hard to see this. It's very hard to catch, right? But like I said in the first breakdown, when you really watch a player and know what they do, you know how to counter it, because when they get to the spot, you're going to do the opposite of what other people do. And that's what OKC is going to do between these plays. Pay attention. It's the whole team, the whole game, right? So now Jalen Brunson here with SGA, right? Notice, understand, when Jalen Brunson makes these moves, right, he loves when he sees help defenders, right? When he sees the help step over, Case and Wallace right here, right? You have SGA on the ball. Strong side, you know it's not going to help. When he sees someone step over, he's going to get into contact. He's going to bump, right? But watch SGA in this situation. He's not going to try to cut Jalen Brunson off here or just ride his hip as a defender. What he's going to end up doing is maintaining space, not letting that bump happen, and leading Jalen Brunson, right, to falling on the floor because he pulled the chair, right? So now, boom, he's just stuck. And mind you, notice how early on the game this is, right? This is literally right at the start of the game, 2 minutes into the game. And notice what's going to happen continuously for the rest of the game, right? They're going to be able to take advantage of this the whole time because they did their homework, right? Y'all got to begin to do your homework. If you're not doing your homework and film and things like, and to do things like this, it's just going to be hard to succeed in basketball as a whole, right? Pay attention, right? I'm going to show you all the importance of studying the game, right? So now here, another possession. Isaiah Joe. Let's watch this full speed through one time, right? Loading up. Boom. You know Jalen Brunson's game. You know what he loves to get into when he gets into the lane. Not just the bumps, but that low rip through to foul bait you, right? So when Lu Dort, right? When Lu Dort at the top of this possession ends up staying on Jalen Brunson initially, screen happens. Now he's on Josh Hart, right? And now he's going to load up because remember, he's doing their homework, right? Non-shooter right there, right? So I don't have to stay attached. He's going to move all the way over. So now he's got Isaiah Joe on him. He knows Jalen Brunson's going to want to attack. And so where is he going to end up going to? You got SJ loaded up in the strong side. You don't want to kick to Deuce McBride and make that play, right? Because they're going to bait you into that. So what he ends up doing, right? Break into that middle. Lu Dort loads up, forgets about Josh Hart. And when he wants to get to his low rip through, watch Lu Dort. Nope, I ain't doing it. He knows his game. He knows what he likes to get into and the ranges that he gets in. This is doing your homework, right? This is doing your homework. Boom, low rip through, gets nothing. And now since he didn't get hit on his arm, he ends up passing the ball up and turning it over, right? Straight like that, right? Understand, continue to notice how they're going to literally just exploit the fact that, exploit his strengths. They're exploiting his strengths by having the counter move to all the moves that he is doing, right? Pay attention. Another possession. This is in the first quarter again, right? Right here in the zone, right? Let me skip a little bit right quick, right? Right here in the zone. Pay attention. When you know what a player's about to do, it's so easy to avoid their strengths and exploit it, right? Jalen Brunson attacks. You know at this point he's reading the help. Help comes and steps over in J-Dub, right? Jalen Williams, right? And so Lu Dort, he's beat. Lu Dort's beat at this point. What defenders usually do is just stay on their side and just try to get back in front and just play like they don't have a brain sometimes, right? But like I said, when you do your homework, this is what you're going to be able to do, right? Lu Dort, when he tries to get contact because he saw the help, he doesn't get into his body, right? When Jalen Brunson tries to cut off left into his frame, into his lane, right? Lu Dort decides to go even more left so that he cannot bump him and get called for a foul. So now, boom, missed shot. Understand. They're locking them up. And that's what's going to happen as a byproduct of you learning the game, of you doing your homework when it comes to playing the game, right? OKC, that's why they won the chip. That's why they're such a good regular season team. They're doing their homework each game. They know how to exploit people's weaknesses and strengths. When have you seen somebody be able to exploit somebody's strength? That's really unheard of, right? He exploited their strengths. And that's different. That's not something you could really see. That's rare, right? So when it comes down to playing, y'all got to understand. Y'all got to begin to do your homework. You got to build the mind. You got to build your IQ, right? And so if you lack the IQ, join the community. Join the community. I'm just telling you now, if you take basketball seriously, if you actually want to get better, if you really want to improve, join the community.